Today I am making Valentine cards. In particular, one specific Valentine card for my husband. I never did buy any Valentine stamp sets. Not having a Valentine stamp set, I looked through all of the stamps I did have on hand to find possible sentiments that could be used on a Valentine card. In fact, I created a sheet to help me easily select such messages. I keep a notebook of sentiments organized by themes to make it easier and faster in choosing my sentiments. For the card I am making today, I'm using this die cut that I purchased from Amazon. The center heart can be easily separated from the fancy frame. I now have an Amazon storefront where I link the tools and materials that I reference in my videos. I am an Amazon associate that earns a small commission fee when you purchase through my store. There's no extra cost to you when you shop through my store. If you see something in my video that you would like to have for yourself, and I tell you that I got this from Amazon, this is a very convenient way for you to get those tools that you need. And it's a small way you can support the efforts of my channel to give you free content. You will find the link to my storefront in the video description below this video. I thought it would be nice to ink the center heart, keeping the frame white. The ink blending brushes, also purchased from Amazon, have a wonderful shape with rounded, soft bristles that make applying ink with soft edges possible. I decided to ink mainly the outside edges, leaving the center of the heart white, giving it sort of a rounded dimension, applying the ink with a circular motion. Let's take a look at how this will look together. Let me zoom in so you can see a little better. Yes, that looks pretty good. Next, I want to add a little more to the fancy heart frame. So I decided to use a white embossing powder on the frame. But before doing that, I carefully made sure the paper surface is clean with my little pouch, wiping gently from the larger surface outward to the smaller bits. I press the front of the frame into the Versamark, which applies a sticky film on the surface that will allow embossing powder to stick to it. Make sure you cover the entire surface. This video, I will share 4 different embossing techniques. I place the heart frame on a paper plate with the sticky side up, then coat the surface with a white embossing powder that I purchased from Amazon. Here is the reason why I use paper plates, because it's easy to pour the remaining powder back into the jar. The plate folds easily. And when it gets dirty, you can easily replace a cheap paper plate. Then I use a heat gun to melt the powder, which forms a shiny but firm surface. When I tried to lift it from the plate, it stuck a little bit and one piece broke off. Perhaps I should have doubled up the frame to make it stronger, but I'm going to use it how it is anyhow. I have learned that it's better to take a small toothpick to lift it up all the way around the edges instead of trying to peel it off the plate. Keep in mind, the embossing powder turned liquid can be hot to touch if you touch it too soon, so be careful. I place the inked heart back into the center. I used transparent tape to tape everything together on the reverse side. Here is a closer look at the shiny white surface of the frame against the flat inked heart. I'm satisfied with how it looks. Now, to work on the sentiment. I have chosen the words "love you" from a die cut set called Blessings Word Die that I purchased off Amazon. I cut 4 of the words because I plan to layer them, making a stronger and thicker font. Usually 3 layers are sufficient, but the paper that I'm using is thin, so I went with 4 layers. I glued each of the 4 layers, one on top of the other, carefully lining them up. I'm working on a silicone mat to keep my work surface clean. The silicone mat is from Stampin' Up. The glue that I choose to use is tacky glue, which is my favorite glue. It dries on my hands, so my hands are not left sticky as a lot of other glues do. The glue dries and then you just peel it off, or rub it off. Tacky glue is an all-purpose glue that I use it for everything, for all of my crafting projects. You can also purchase it from Amazon or most any craft or hobby store. Just as I did with the heart frame, I pressed the font into the Versamark to coat it with a sticky film that the embossing powder will cling to. This time I used black embossing powder, also purchased from Amazon. I finished it up with a heat gun. You can see how it melted to give a smooth, shiny surface to the font. This will give more pop to my sentiment. That will be a part of the focal point of the front of my card. I glued it to my prepared heart. What a cool embellishment. Now it is time to prepare our card base. Stay tuned because I have a couple more techniques to share with you. The card base is half a sheet of standard size cardstock, 8.5 by 11. I'm using a half a sheet. I want the center to be embossed with an embossing folder that presses the design into the paper. The paper I cut 4-inch wide and 5¼ inch long. So I have a small flat frame around the 4 edges of the same color on my base. I run my paper through the Big Shot machine to emboss or impress the folder design into my paper. I thought this rose pattern looked romantic. It is a lovely design, but I want to add something more to it. In a small dish, I added some bleach to water to dilute the bleach. With a Q-tip, I lightly glaze over the top of the raised parts of the design. This will slightly bleach out some of the red. Watch the color slowly fade away, enhancing the floral design. You don't want the Q-tip to be too full, and try not to drip it. I usually dab it on the napkin before beginning. It takes a few seconds before you start to see results. That adds another nice touch to the design of my card. I fold my base card in half, and then I glue my embossed rose pattern paper to the card front. Now it's ready to receive the heart embellishment that I made. See how I have a kind of a frame around the outside edge? That looks quite good, but there is still one more touch that I want to add. It needs a little sparkle. With my Wink of Stella brush from Stampin' Up, I brushed off a little sparkle around the card front. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but I will try to show it to you. Well, I have added all the spark and glitter I could think of to a very special card intended for my sweetheart. Tell me what you think of it. Check out my playlist, Card Making, for more tips and tricks for card making. I am also on Rumble. I have a channel over there devoted entirely to creative card making. And if you saw something in this video that you would like, please check out my Amazon storefront to buy the tools or supplies that you want in your personal arsenal. Thanks for watching.